My insane doctor's appointment. And we have liftoff. Part 1. If you've ever been so embarrassed you literally could die, you gotta hear this. So here I am straight out of high school. It was a couple years since my last physical, and I was due. So I scheduled a doctor's appointment for a regular physical. You have no idea how this is going to end. I get to my appointment and I'm ready for whatever. Open my mouth and say, ah. Take big, deep breaths in and out, and yes, drop my pants, turn, and cough. Then he says, we should take a urine sample, and I'm like, easy peas, why? So I get a cup from the nurse, head to the bathroom, and splash all over to get a sample. You think it's easy, but it's not like a faucet. Once you start, you can't stop. I cleaned up, walked out, and gave the cup of my pee to the nurse and head home full of pride, thinking I surely passed with flying colors. Nope. The nurse calls later that afternoon, and I'm thinking, I only slept with a couple girls. What could it be? She begins to tell me that my test came back abnormal and that I should see a specialist T. What specialist? I ask. She says we found an abnormal amount of white blood cells in your urine, and we'd like you to see a urologist. Great, here we go. I schedule a urologist appointment a week later, and I'm thinking the worst. Could it be an STD, or worse yet, some type of disease? Maybe I have a defective ding-dong? I have no clue. I nervously walk in, sit down, and wait my turn, gripping the chair with both hands like I'm about to take off on a rocket ship. There are other guys in the waiting room all waiting their turns, but it's obvious that I'm the youngest of this space shuttle crew. Finally, my name gets called, and I sit down in the exam room. About 20 minutes later, the doctor comes in and explains what the nurse told me over the phone. Here I am thinking, it'll just be another urine sample, right? He then says, I'd like to start with a bladder scope. Great, they're going to cut me open and look at my bladder. Like and subscribe for part 2. My insane doctor's appointment. And we have liftoff. Part 2. About 20 minutes later, the doctor comes in and explains what the nurse told me over the phone. Here I am thinking, it'll just be another urine sample, right? He then says, I'd like to start with a bladder scope. Great, they're going to cut me open and look at my bladder. This obviously won't happen today, and this will need to be scheduled out. Nope. He says, no, we won't cut you open. We'll take a thin tube with a light and camera at the end and insert it into your urethra. I am visibly shaking at this point. What's my urethra? Is that a medical term for belly button? I ask. No, it's where you urinate from, he says. I immediately turn white and start sweating. I begin to tell him, I don't think this is necessary. I've only slept with 2 girls and there must be some type of mistake. Can we schedule this for another time? No, we have it scheduled for today, and trust me, it won't hurt or take long, he says. I get taken back into another room where they lay me down to prepare me for the procedure. I'm literally shaking G at this point, thinking I just want to go home and crawl under the covers. Then about 4 other nurses walk into the room. Apparently, they are students who are observing the procedure for educational purposes. WTF, I'm thinking. This older female nurse, probably in her 60s, then comes up to me and says, I need to prepare the area for the procedure. She then proceeds to clean my junk with this orange-reddish liquid called iodopovidone. Oh no, it's been some time since my last encounter with my ex, but this is not good. She's cleaning the area like it's her last supper, and here I am getting a rock-hard bonsai tree. I grasp the table, and before I can start to think of my grandmother, the inevitable happens. I had no control. It was so fast. I had no time to think. It, and I mean ET, comes out. The nurse takes a step back and immediately places a towel over and says, It's not the first time. The procedure was quick, and I got dressed and walked out of the office with my tail between my legs. I get home and howl like I've just been violated. Thankfully, everything was just fine, except for my pride. I haven't had a physical since. Like and subscribe for more video like this.
Am I overreacting for not wanting to go on a second vacation with my boyfriend's family after the first one left me in tears? Last year, my boyfriend, 29M, invited me, 27F, to join his family on a week-long vacation. His parents, 2 siblings, and their partners were all going. I was excited because it felt like a big step in our relationship and a chance to bond with his family. I even used up most of my PTO for the trip, and helped pitch in financially where I could. But from the start, things felt off. His mom made passive-aggressive comments about me not being helpful enough, even though I cooked, helped clean, and offered to pick up anything we needed. His sister barely acknowledged me and acted like I was just in the way. When I tried to join conversations or be friendly, I was either ignored or talked over. I mentioned it to my boyfriend, but he brushed it off and said, "That's just how they are." It all came to a head one night when his mom made a comment about how I wasn't raised with manners. I was so embarrassed I ended up crying alone in the bathroom. Again, my boyfriend told me I was being too sensitive and that I needed to stop taking things so personally. By the end of the trip, I felt emotionally drained and completely unwelcome. Now his family is planning another vacation, and he wants me to come along. I told him I'm really uncomfortable with the idea, and he got upset, saying I was making things harder than they need to be and holding a grudge. I honestly just don't want to go through that again. But now I'm wondering, am I overacting? Like and subscribe for more video like this.
AIO for being annoyed when a friend's dinner party turned into a group bill. A friend invited me to what I thought was a casual dinner at their place last weekend. When I arrived, there were about 10 people there, and they'd ordered catering from a nice restaurant, multiple courses, wine pairings, the whole deal. I figured my friend D was just being generous since they recently got a promotion. After dessert, the host announced, "Okay, everyone, if you can Venmo me $75 for food and $25 for wine, that'd be great." I was completely blindsided. Nobody had mentioned this was a split check situation, and while the meal was nice, I wouldn't have agreed to spend $100 on a random Saturday dinner if I'd known. When I quietly asked my friend about it later, they shrugged and said, "Oh yeah, we always split costs for these things. Thought you knew." But this was never discussed beforehand. I'm not broke, but I do budget carefully, and now I'm stuck either paying for a fancy meal I didn't choose or looking like a freeloader. The host has since texted the group chat with payment reminders. Am I overreacting for feeling put off by this? To me, if you're hosting something with costs involved, that should be clear up front, not sprung on guests after they've already enjoyed and consumed everything. Like and subscribe for more video like this.
AIO when I tell my husband we can't hang out with his brother and wife. Part 1. My husband, 33M, and I, 33F, moved to the West Coast to be closer to his family, mostly his brother B, 36M, who lives here with his wife A, 36F. For as long as I have known them, A and I have not gotten along. While she calls me her sister and wants to hang out because she does not have girlfriends, I find her insufferable because she is hypocritical, interrupts people when talking, bosses her husband around, and demands that things be done her way. For example, she always picks the restaurant we eat at and throws a tantrum if I disagree, and then my husband and Beal cave and say we should eat where A wants to eat. While she has been like this for over a decade, we only have lived in the same city for a short while, and it's becoming increasingly clear that my husband will time and time again defend her behavior when I feel she has wronged me. We all recently found out that we are expecting our first child, and I am due 3 weeks ahead of A. We initially talked about finding out the gender together and doing a gender reveal party for 4, and I elected to wait to find out the baby's gender on testing. And then 3 weeks later, she made a gender announcement to the immediate family. A few weeks after that, husband and I asked when we all should announce the pregnancies to the whole extended family. Should we go first, as we are expecting sooner, or should we announce together? She and BIL said they would get back to us, and then a week later announced it to the extended family. When I got upset about this, husband said that A was just really excited, and I shouldn't take it personally. I know I can't escape this woman, but I am starting to think we might need couples counseling because of how hurtful it is when my husband defends her. Like and subscribe for part 2. AIO when I tell my husband we can't hang out with his brother and wife. Part 2. This week was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. BL and husband have birthdays 5 days apart and overlapping mutual friends. To celebrate, they wanted a joint birthday dinner at a restaurant. I asked that it be Friday because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get off work in time on another day. But A said she didn't want Friday. And then BIL and husband said it will be fine. They can just do Thursday, and hopefully I can come straight after work. On Thursday, we had the dinner with about 20 fry ends at a casual place, order at the counter and sit down, beer garden sort of thing. I left work early so that I could be on time, but not early enough that I was able to pick up a cake for BIL and husband, like I had hoped. I'm a veterinarian, so I can't just clock out if a patient still needs me. At the restaurant, A had the server bring out a single dessert with single candle and sang happy birthday to her husband and yelled for the whole restaurant to get quiet. We sang happy birthday, and then when we finished, one of my BL husband's friends said, "Hey OP, what kind of wife are you, without even getting your husband a birthday dessert?" It was incredibly embarrassing, and I really can't understand why someone wouldn't have the courtesy to do 2 desserts if we are celebrating 2 birthdays, or ask/text me to let me know her plans to surprise her husband at the mutual birthday dinner. It was pretty mortifying, but what makes it worse is my husband not seeing that it's hurtful. So AIO, if I tell my husband I won't see BIL and his wife until we start seeing a couples counselor, I just can't stand this woman, and it feels like a wedge is driven between me and my husband because of her. Like and subscribe for more video like this. Am I overreacting for leaving my BF house late at night? My BF is 22 and have some intimacy issues. Today I called him and asked if I should keep my makeup on for said intimacy, and he agreed. Long story short, we are in bed scrolling through videos, and he gets up to play video games. He has an issue of gaming very late, then being too tired for intimacy. I literally just said his name to get his attention to ask if I should take my makeup off or keep it on. But before I could finish what I was saying, he called me annoying in a very agitated voice. I got very upset and left his house. He is now saying I overreacted and ruined his night, and I think he's going to break up with me. Did I overreact by leaving? Also, from his POV, I guess he was annoyed because I kept asking if we were going to do it. But that's only because my makeup was on all day, and it was getting very uncomfortable, and it was already getting late. He also is notorious for being too tired for intimacy. But did I overreact by leaving and starting an issue? Like and subscribe for more video like this.
AITA for blowing up after I caught my wife secretly withdrawing money from my account. I, 35 Mim, have been with my wife 28F for 6 years, married for 4. We have a kid, a house, shared bills, the usual. We agreed early on. I handle most of the financial stuff, not because she can't, but because I'm just more structured. I've got a spreadsheet, alerts, categories, whatever. But lately, things weren't adding up. Like, my card kept declining in random places. Netflix payment bounced. Twice. Like, we're not rich, but we're not broke either. So I checked my bank app, and boom, there it was. Random withdrawals. Like 3,000 here, 7,000 there, sometimes in a week. No explanation, no message, no hey, is it cool if I grab some cash? Nothing. So I ask her, not even angrily, just straight, hey, were you the one taking cash out last week? And she just doesn't answer, just stares at her phone, like she didn't hear me. I ask again, louder this time, still nothing. Finally I go, why are you taking money from our account and not telling me? And she literally says nothing, just shrugs. Not even a sorry, not even a lie, nothing. I lost it. I told her, you can't just take from our money like that and use it for whatever you feel like. That's not okay. And she goes, it's our money, right? So why do I need to ask? Like, girl, no. It's not about permission. It's about respect. We're supposed to be in this together. We budget together. We struggle together. You don't just swipe cash and act like it's no big deal while I'm here stressing about bounced bills. She walked away mid-argument. No apology, just silence for 2 days now. I've been sleeping in the guest room, thinking, am I really crazy here? Like, she used our joint funds without a word, then acted like I was the one overreacting? Part of me feels like I shouldn't have yelled. But another part of me is like, if I don't speak up, she'll keep doing this. And then what? She drains us dry while I'm out here checking coins in the car for gas money. So yeah, I called her out for secretly withdrawing from our bank account without saying anything, and told her not to use our money for whatever she wants. She hasn't said a word since. Just gives me looks like I did something wrong. So tell me, AITA? Like and subscribe for more videos like this.
AITA for ruining my boyfriend's perfect proposal plan. Smart, funny, decent cook, if you like everything covered in hot sauce, and just a genuinely sweet guy. We've talked about marriage, so it wasn't a surprise that he was going to propose at some point. I just didn't know how or when. So here's what happened. Last week, he told me to get dressed nice but comfy, and that we were going for a surprise evening. First of all, that's already suspicious because the man once told me surprise food and took me to Taco Bell. But okay, I went along with it. We end up driving like 45 minutes out of the city to this really pretty nature trail near a lake. Mind you, it's already 6:30 p.m. I hadn't eaten since lunch, and all I had was a granola bar that I shared with our dog earlier. So I'm getting grumpy. And not cute, sassy grumpy. Like, why did I leave the house if there's no food here? Kind of grumpy. He wants to go on this long walk to the perfect spot, and I'm like, bro, I love you, but I'm about to chew on this pine cone. I start complaining. Not screaming or anything, just, I'm seriously starving. Can we go get food first and come back? He's acting weird and insists we go now, or the moment will be gone. I don't get it and say I'm not walking any further without food. He gets quiet, we leave, and end up getting burgers. Later that night, he tells me that he was going to propose there, and I ruined the moment. I feel kinda bad because, yeah, I did complain a lot. But also, he planned a full-on hike during dinner time and didn't bring snacks. Does he not know me? I told him maybe next time, schedule a proposal when I'm not at war with my stomach. He laughed, but I can tell he's still a little disappointed. Now his friends are saying I was self-centered and killed the romance. My friends say if he wanted a perfect moment, he should have fed me first. So, AITA for ruining my own proposal because I was hangry and needed fries more than a fiancé? Like and subscribe for more videos like this.